I should hope not. Not only does your soundboard not work, but once again, Monk, once again, I hear no voice from you, Monk. Fucking OBS.
Once more, with feeling. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fated Continuum, the Legendary Journeys. No, we have no association with Kevin Sorbo. And I'm not doing the disappointed gag. Some of you may be disappointed at that knowledge.
Your disappointment is noted.
Mm-hmm. Your disappointment is noted, and your day is ruined. But I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me, of course, is my co-writer and editor-in-chief for Legend Edition, the man of 1,000 runes, the CEO of Zadari Enterprises, and the bane of my fucking existence, Good Brother Xanatrix.
Zadari Enterprises would like to remind you that no reminders today. Zadari Enterprises is taking the day off.
So,
what do you mean I can't do that, Legal? I'm the fucking CEO and sole proprietor. Shut up. I can do whatever the fuck I please. Screw the rules, I make them.
I do apologize for us being a bit late. There were some side things that had to be dealt with. Better late than never. And I see Vanguardian in the chat. How you doing? Can't wait to learn more about Final Fantasy IV. I'm guessing he hasn't played FF4 before, but
second largest playable cast of characters at this point in time.
And hello there, Dragon. But we were planning on doing this a couple weeks ago, but there were IRL obstacles that happened, so we had to push it back because I wasn't in a position to reschedule the schedule I set up for the Record of Swordforged Worlds, because I intended to get through the 1.0 era by the end of 2025.
Yeah. So I had to just kick the can down the road and reschedule some stuff, because I already had to do a significant reschedule during that 1 week that I was completely unable to perform. Yep.
So it is what it is. Now, with that said, this is not just going to be covering FF4, but also delving into the October challenge. Now, for those of you who do not know, every month I put out a monthly design challenge. This is usually built around a particular theme. 2 months ago, back in September, the theme was Sword Timber. And this month, the theme is building a race based on one of the Universal movie monsters. And I had thought that the Universal monsters had been such a big part of the zeitgeist that I didn't need to list them off. Turns out I did. So I listed off a short list of suggestions. But if you've been around, I won't even say if you've been around horror, if you've been around pop culture, a lot of the Universal monsters you will have known, because they've been used, reused, parodied, reconstructed, yada 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 for generations. and whether it be directly and name dropping them, or indirectly with things like Darkstalkers. I'd say about a third of the cast of Darkstalkers is a reference to at least one of those monsters.
I mean, Dimitri's a vampire. Mm-hmm. Lord Raptor's a zombie.
Yeah. Anakaris is a mummy.
Yeah.
Ripto is a fishman, as the cartoon kept calling him. Oh.
Yup. There's quite a. What's really funny about Darkstalkers is that the video game's original name is just Vampire.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think Darkstalkers was a better name.
Yeah, it did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But like Bishamon's a ghost. I mean, John's a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's the one that I think literally the entire fucking internet knows, or the two, I should say. Mm-hmm. Morrigan, succubus, and Felicia, the cat girl. But cat girls are not part of the Universal movie monsters. Rikuo is, though.
Mm-hmm.
As you pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Victor, which I wonder who that could be. I can't imagine who Victor is, Monk.
Yeah. Now, as I'd often do with these things, there were a few ground rules um, that I had established. Um, because I needed to put some degree of controls on this kind of thing. So the rules were as follows. It had to you could not submit multiple entries of the same type. I.e., if you submit a vampire XP, that's the only vampire XP you can submit. Um, it doesn't have to be a one-to-one creation, but of a similar type or archetype. You weren't
Yep.
limited to one entry, but as I said, you couldn't do a bunch of race variants.
Yeah.
And for guidance, I went with the most obvious entries. Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and
Etc.
put in a reminder of how we have races work in FFLE. Races are composed of three components, sometimes four. Ability modifier, which is usually one physical or one mental, or an any, like with our android. One skill, that's the race's origin skill. One racial feature, and I put in, it is advised to not reuse an existing feat, spell, or job feature unless absolutely relevant. And the optional fourth is an optional racial feature. If your entry has an optional feature that is either
Highly
has a
situational.
highly situational impact. I ended up typoing it. Sorry. Such as the interspaced ones and the Elzen's heraldry feature, or provides a significant disadvantage, like the android's artificial being feature. It should be treated as an optional feature here. It is advised to keep fluff text to a minimum, a couple paragraphs at most to avoid scope creep. I put that in because there have been a few cases of people falling into scope creep with some of their entries, thinking that they need to go into this lengthy amount of backstory when that's not the point.
That's not the point. Yeah.
We also put in a bonus challenge, a bit of pandering to myself. Make a boss difficulty NPC based on the song "The Shadow Man Incident" by Dream Theater, which was the album closer for their most recent album, Parasomnia.
Yep. Good fucking album too.
Good album is one giant comeback tour because Portnoy came back.
Yeah, that was I was very happy to see Portnoy back out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been years.
Yeah, it's been years. I've seen him on a few YouTube channels here and there trying to do drum covers of other people's songs.
Well, and let me be perfectly clear, because I feel like anybody else who doesn't know enough about Dream Theater or isn't as big into Dream Theater as we are, let me be perfectly clear. Mangini was fucking fantastic while Portnoy was out. Portnoy and Mangini are both great. And there is no comparison being made. They both have their own flares. They both have their own styles. They both give Dream Theater an absolute awesome feel to them. It's just different between the two. Personally, having grown up with Portnoy since, he was part of Dream Theater from the start, had to go on hiatus for a while and came back.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small preference for Portnoy, but that's just personal preference. That is not saying that Mangini was in any way inferior.
Yeah. Obviously, we can't have a full reunion because of the one elephant in the room who has long since retired from making music. He's a doctor now.
Yep.
But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Kevin Moore is an asshole.
No, Monk. Tell us how you really feel.
I don't know if you end up telling multiple people to fuck off when they even want to passively mention your work in Dream Theater with you, you're kind of a dick.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
just to get it out of my system, would you mind being the evangelist regarding Kevin Moore and why I call him an asshole? Or do you think I should?
Kevin Moore. Oh man, Kevin Moore from Dream Theater. Jesus Christ. So, I guess the best thing to say about this, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why he acts that way regarding talking about Dream Theater. I just know he does. And I think maybe it's. I'm not sure.
But for a bit of context, Kevin Moore was the original keyboardist for Dream Theater,
yes,
all the way back when it was Majesty.
Yes, and before they had to rename.
And asking if I can turn up my mic a tick or two. Let me adjust that.
Yeah, he was the original keyboardist. He eventually left.
Yep. How's that, Elementalist? Is that better? I got it up to 120% or. But yeah, he was the original keyboardist. He was the keyboardist for the Majesty demos, and
he was all the way up to Awake.
Yep. Which a lot of people, I don't agree with it, but a lot of people consider Awake Dream Theater's best album.
Awake's a good album. I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. My favorite is still Octavarium, and my favorite song is still Panic Attack, but we won't get into that.
Well, Labrie would agree with you. He considers it his finest work.
Hey, Labrie did some magic on the vocals on Octavarium.
Yeah. But that's saying something given some of the stuff he's had to go through with his vocals. But midway through a damn tour, Moore announced that he was leaving, and didn't really give them time to easily find a replacement.
Yeah, and even worse, in my opinion, anytime they've ever tried to reach out and be like, "Hey, man, you want to maybe do some stuff for the reunion tour, or you want to get involved on our biography or whatnot?" He's like, "No, fuck that. That's the past. I'm gonna look forward to the future."
Yeah,
he legitimately, he's paraphrasing. He prefers to move forward as opposed to looking back,
which is fine. But when somebody is trying to write a biography of sorts on the band you were involved in,
yep,
then I think you've crossed a threshold.
Yep. But I also think that we're going pretty far into the weeds now, Monk.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of my system.
That off our chest, as usual. Yeah.
Now the Shadow Man incident, which is a absolute banger of a song, is
everybody should listen to it.
Is themed around I guess you could call it a cryptid of the
Black Hat Man.
Yeah, the Black Hat Man, which is this recurring hallucination that has been reported by people who have used some sort of sleep medication, or in some cases abused sleep medication.
Yep, and then they wake up with sleep paralysis and see a very tall, lanky, shadowy figure wearing a wide-brimmed hat with glowing red eyes. And it's a hallucination that has been reported concurrently by multiple people who have never heard of the Tall Hat Man before, across not just the U.S. but the globe. So it's kind of one of those weird: is this a mass hallucination or what?
Yeah, it was still pretty quiet, especially compared.
if I adjust the gain on the physical mic, that's going to cause issues. So I'm just going to have to mess with it in OBS. Let's try 150%. Okay.
You're still really quiet on the stream, Monk.
Maybe I should mess with the gain a bit. Actually,
Do you have auto gain control on?
No, I don't think so. Testing, 1, 2. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Seven-second delay, Monk. So
Yep.
okay, that's a lot louder at that point.
Is it too loud or is it good?
No, it's much better. I'm still not sure what's going on with your volumes there. I'm probably still going to overpower you in most cases, but what do you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Dragon says I gave up bringing that up. Look, I'm not a sound engineer. Audio design has been the bane of my existence for years.
I mean, yes. OBS resetting itself every
damn update.
Yeah, anyhow, onward to our first design challenger.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do apologize in advance for not being able to show the text for these. If I do that, I would have to show my Discord, and that is not an option. So the first entry is from Stellar Flare.
Yep.
Stellar Flare said I might add more to this later as I come up with them, but they never did.
That's fine. We only said they had to make one race. So, in this case, Stellar Flare made the Canopics, and from that name alone, you probably already know that these are going to be mummy-based.
Mm-hmm.
A race of undead, their bodies preserved and wrapped in bandages. In ancient times, their civilization chose death and preservation, their souls placed in stasis until the cure for a plague that threatened them was found. Centuries later, they emerged from their tombs once the disease had been eradicated. The Canopics take their name from the jars that contain their preserved organs, which they keep on their persons at all times. Though undead, their preservation techniques ensured that their bodies remained whole and hale compared to the average zombie. Despite some initial contact with those who had built atop where their tombs were hidden, they have integrated into modern society quickly. By rediscovering their old trades as potters, jewelers, and builders of great wonders, they were able to offer much to the world. Then, after word had spread of their return, they used their experience as river traders to spread themselves across the nations that sprung up in their absence. As an entire race that has known death, they have come back with a certain joie de vivre. Yes, I know how to speak a tiny amount of French, fuck y'all. They delight in being able to move, run, dance, sing, or any kind of physical activity. While some lament that they were not able to entirely restart their civilization from scratch, most know that being able to survive and share their culture with a new age is a blessing. So the choice between ability modifiers is vitality or spirit. The origin skill is orienteering. The bonus feat categories are equipment, skills, or social. Their racial feature, misplaced vitals. The critical success threat range for any single target effect targeting you is reduced by 1. This does not prevent a critical success on a natural 20. I like that. Oh man. And then optional racial feature, dry body. You are immune to bleeding and poison and have damage vulnerability X fire and damage vulnerability X water. Wow.
I like that.
So-
I like that we have essentially a mummy race that can easily integrate itself into other settings instead of being locked in one place.
this isn't exactly the Tomb Kings.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell it's all very, very based on Egypt in a certain way.
Mhm.
It's just, oh, the mummies rose in the middle of modern day Egypt, saw the world was doing good, and decided, we want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Instead of the way this usually works is the mummy rises and gets pissed off that the nation that they ruled over is non-existent.
Well, let's be fair there. With when it comes to the mummy and the mummy's curse in the Universal Pictures, the mummies have been mummified, thus, dried, preserved, desiccated corpses for literally over 1,000 years. Whereas these guys, through whatever they did, were able to preserve their bodies as is, even with the organs removed, and thus come back looking like a normal person. And since their brains and everything are perfectly preserved, it's not like their brain also degraded due to mummification. And I tend to think that part of the mummy's anger, other than it being a curse of the ancient Tomb Kings, is also you don't have a perfectly preserved brain anymore. So you're just kind of a ball of aggression and instinct.
Yeah.
But this mummy...
It would be really, really amusing if somebody built a character using this and gave the character the name Imhotep. I know, I know some people are like, isn't that a little bit obvious? Well, here's the thing about the name Imhotep. It translates to come in peace. I hope the irony is not lost on any of you. So, there may have been a historical Imhotep who was a engineer priest who would later become deified, but how accurate that is, it's kind of tricky because there's not a whole lot of record on him. He did have his own cult, but having your own cult in ancient Egypt isn't exactly a brand spanking new thing. Dragon brings up mummies alive because of course he's going to bring up mummies alive.
Yep. Of course, I personally think that there's probably a guy somewhere in red dust whose name is 1MH-0T3P. And he runs his entire Magos farm in the Cult Mechanicus.
Yep.
Of
course, on the other hand, I could see somebody making a canonic version of Cetra, but I would not have a PC doing that. I would prefer an NPC do that because a PC version of Cetra would make the entire table want you dead, especially when it comes to reading off Cetra's titles.
I was about to say, did you mean Cetra, the opener of the way, wielder of the divine flame, punisher of nomads, the great unifier, commander of the golden legion, sacred of appearance, bringer of light, father of hawks, builder of cities, protector of the two worlds, keeper of the hours, chosen of peer, high steward of the horizon, sailor of the great vitae, sentinel of the two realms, the undisputed begetter of the begat, scourge of the faithless, carrion feeder, first of the charnel valley, rider of the sacred chariot, vanquisher of vermin, champion of the death reign, emperor of the shifting sands, he who holds the scepter, great hawk of the heavens, arch sultan of the Adelan, waker of the Hydra Titan, monarch of the sky, majestic emperor of the shifting sands, champion of the desert gods, breaker of the ogre clans, builder of the great pyramid, terror of the living, master of the never-ending horizon, master of the necropolises. That should be necropoli. Taker of souls, tyrant of the foolish, bearer of Pita's holy blade, scion of Assyrian, scion of Nehek, Cetra the Great. I'll stop there. There's still about another 2/3 of that list.
The whole thing goes for 2 hours, people.
Oh no, this is just the list. Like at the very end of this list on the wiki, it says breaker of Joff's bonds and many more. That's where it decided to stop.
Yes.
There you go. I did the bit.
Look, just load up Total War Warhammer 2 and play as the Tomb Kings, and you will see his level of arrogance.
Cetra's great. We love Cetra.
He makes the elves look tame as far as levels of arrogance.
That's not a lie. He's just stating facts, people.
Do you realize how different you have to be for the L's to say tone it down? Yeah, but the Canopics, I like that. I like this.
I like the Canopics because it's clear that Stellar integrated both the lore idea they had and the mechanics, because they were great sailor merchants. So their origin skill is what? Orienteering. And they have feats in things like equipment and skill and social. Because once again, artisans and merchants.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot here that shows that thought was put not just into mechanically how they'd work, but how that would tie in narratively, which we always love to see, the tie of mechanics and narrative.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, given their delight in being able to move, run, dance, and the like, why am I thinking of Laparca?
I don't know. Why are you?
Why indeed? Because Laparca's a skeleton.
I know.
A dancing skeleton who occasionally air guitars on a steel chair, but... And hello there, Hydra. Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
But
I think the best way to indicate that they have had their organs removed is lowering the critical success threat range against them for single target effects.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant.
Oh yeah. And the fact that it doesn't make you critical proof, just resistant.
Yeah.
Plus,
But
taking away
with that-
taking away the natural 20 is kind of a dick move.
Well, and that's why it specifically says this doesn't make you immune to criticals based on nat 20s.
Mm-hmm. So then we have Commodore's entries.
Yep.
Give me a second because so I do remember him stating that he was going to be cheating a bit by using the blob, but I feel like that barely counts as cheating. Yes, the blob is technically not a universal monster.
I mean,
at least
2 of his monsters are technically not universal monsters, Monk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining. Both of them are cool.
Yeah, I figured I used the universal monsters because of its footprint in the cultural zeitgeist. But it was essentially just it's October spooky season. I wanted to see some classic monsters.
Yeah.
And the
I
blob
get that.
certainly counts as that.
Yep. And so the maniacal shadow chemist's dream of creating a living biological weapon became his greatest and last experimental success. All that remained of him was the frozen hand with which he had tried in vain to detonate his last ice crystal.
The ability modifier is vitality or persona. Interesting. Origin skill is athletics. Bonus feat categories are basic combat, environment, and ambush. I'll get to that in a second. Racial feature, damage reduction X physical, damage vulnerability X ice. When taking elemental ice damage, if you are not afflicted with the slow condition, you gain slow 1. Gain twice the temporary HP for each point of damage you deal with injure to a participant you successfully grapple during combat. You deal with injure. The wording of that was a little bit odd, but I see what he's going for.
Yeah.
And
you grab them and suck away their life.
Yep. Optional racial feature, cryophobia. You gain 1 bane to all non-combat skill rolls when in snow terrain. While in combat in snow terrain, or in locations composed largely of ice elemental features, as determined by the GM, you are permanently afflicted with the slow condition, which cannot be removed. So, the only major thing I will note is that ambush is not a feat category.
It's a subcategory.
Mm-hmm.
That should be part of combat skills.
Ambush is a subcategory of environment.
Oh, that's true. So that you would want to do a third one that's, on its own.
Mhm. Yep. So, but
For
as
this
far
next one, I'm not singing it.
yep.
I'm not singing it as much as I loved. I'm not singing it.
Yep.
Saplings of Audrey.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to read it out. Would you like to be a big wheel, dining out for every meal? I'm the plant that can make it all real. You going to get it? I'm your genie, I'm your friend, I'm your willing slave. Take a chance and just feed me. And you know the kind of eats, the kind of red hot treats, the kind of sticky, licky sweets I crave. Sudden changes / feed me. Get it from Little Shop of Horrors.
Mhm. So
Once again, not a Universal movie monster, but I love it. So I ain't going to call it out.
ability modifiers are either vigor or persona. Origin skill is presence. Bonus feat categories are basic combat, fortune, and social. And racial features are damage absorption water, damage vulnerability to fire, and prevent damage vulnerability to lightning. And dinner time. If you reduce the HP to 0 of one or more notorious level, should be difficulty, or lower enemy NPCs inflicted with bleeding during combat, your party gains 1 additional D6 treasure die at the end of the encounter. The party may only gain a maximum of 1 treasure die in total per encounter this way. Multiple instances of this effect among players do not stack. And the option...
So basically, you get an extra D6 treasure die for killing something that's bleeding.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
A optional racial feature is Feed Me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour! There you go. I'll do that one.
Gain the following attack. Make a physical attack roll versus skill defense against a normal difficulty NPC. If successful, the NPC gains the Swallowed condition for a number of rounds equal to your character level divided by 2. And Elemental says, for the record, there are races in Ultimania with Ambush as a feat category. I'll have to double check that. This is a negative condition. While afflicted, the target is removed from combat. While the target remains afflicted, you may not take actions on your turn and may only take the dodge reaction. Starting the next round, you may remove this condition at any time. When Swallowed is no longer active, the NPC returns to combat and takes damage equal to your PCM times your character level for each round afflicted. If the NPC is afflicted while there are no other enemies in combat, you immediately reduce the afflicted NPC's HP to 0.
I think that last part needs a check for it. I mean, it's a normal level and a normal difficulty NPC, sure. But there should still be a bit of a check for it. Like maybe you have to hold them there for an amount of time, like 1 turn with no enemies out there, and then, or 1 round with no enemies out there, and then they get reduced to 0. But other than that, it's a pretty fun ability.
Yeah. I do think a bit of presentation could be worked on, and yeah, I did check. There's 5 matches for Ambush, so that's something that we will handle later.
Yep.
But with that said, I think the only issue that I'd have with Saplings of Audrey here is just the way the optional feature is presented, and as you mentioned, it probably could do with a check.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's a minimum 1 when it comes to the duration of Swallowed. Well, using our own round down rules, even if it's character level 1 divided by 2, it rounds up to 1. Our own rules already account for that.
Yep. So I think I can see why it's I can see why it's an optional feature because it is a bit complex.
And it's a bit limiting.
Mhm.
Because once you swallowed, you can't do anything but dodge.
Yeah. So then we have the third entry, Jekyllite. Obviously drawing upon Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yep.
Offspring engineered from the victims of an ancient crazed apothecary, these descendants, at least the ones who strive to fight the monster within, live largely in isolation, hoping to mitigate their violent, near uncontrollable outbursts of rage. And for the ones who embrace this dark side, heaven help us all. So ability modifier is vigor or mind. Certainly makes sense. Origin skill is misdirection. Bonus categories are environment, skill, and subterfuge. Racial feature is overcome. At the start of your turn during an encounter, gain the hide condition with duration 2 or increase duration by 2 if already afflicted. This is a negative condition, then roll a d10. If you roll a value equal to or less than your current duration of hide, you lose the hide condition at the end of the round. Additionally, at the beginning of your next turn, you gain damage spiking X physical, and your extra effort threshold for weapon attack is 2. If this d10 value rolled is a natural 1, you must target another ally with an attack action on your next turn prior to taking any other actions.
I'm not really sure I like this racial feature. There's a lot moving to it. There's a lot of tax to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I understand you're trying to get the Hyde side of Jekyll, but it just feels...
I could see this
Feels
falling
like a-
into the category of a problem archetype, like the paladin problem in the world's most litigious role-playing game.
That and the fact that it just feels like it's going to bog things down. It doesn't feel streamlined.
Mm-hmm. That I could most definitely see.
And the optional race feature is Stress Fracture. If you roll a natural 1 on a present skill roll related to a player or NPC into your action outside of combat, this character must take an action considered aggressive towards that player or NPC per GM discretion. If the result of this action initiates a combat encounter, you start combat with the Hide 2 condition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that one's cooler. I still think it's got a lot of... because it's working based off of the Overcome feature, it's still got all of the baggage that comes with Overcome. So.
Yeah. And I should note what I mean by a problem class is classes or archetypes where they end up doing something that, while it might be dramatically appropriate depending on interpretation, ends up being a ball and chain for the rest of the table. The two big examples
being not fun.
that often get brought up with this is Paladins in the world's most litigious role-playing game, because also known as the lawful stupid problem, where you had to act a very specific way or you were not allowed to be a paladin anymore. This resulted in the fall or die situation that TG and other people have parodied for decades.
Yep.
An earlier example would be the barbarian in AD&D that, up until I think 8th level, was compelled to destroy magic items, which was a surefire way to piss everyone at your table off.
Yep.
I mean, eventually, when they get a high enough level, they can start equipping magic items, which the fighter can do much earlier.
Yep.
From what I recall, barbarians didn't get picked a lot in early AD&D. Probably
No,
for
they
that
did not.
reason. But we also have the bonus challenge, which he called Endless Night.
And he quotes the song, so I'm not going to read that out because I feel like that's actually a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to listen to this song.
Yep. So it is a boss type, and the NPC category is demon. The treasure dice is 3d10 plus 5, calculated as 1d10, the base amount, plus 25 total. Optional loot is Timepiece of Endless Night, which is a relic. Takes 1 from treasure die, has auto condition invisible as a crisis, spellcasting Doom, spellcasting Ghoul Touch, and increased skill to presence, misdirection, and orienteering.
I like that.
So that is a relic tier. So I believe that would be 4 points.
Yeah, and he has them calculated out.
Mm-hmm. So basic magic attack is on a D10 setup. Defense is favoring magic defense, and physical defense only gets half. Put in front row. Extra effort threshold is 3. Ability modifier is +4.
Yeah, that's all according to the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the front row part I didn't put in that, but I'm guessing that's just a
I mean, I'm
suggestion.
guessing he did just because it makes more sense for something that's going to be spooking you to death to be right up and close and personal.
Yeah. So 7 status immunities, or 7 points of status immunity: Berserk, Charm, Confuse, Poison, Petrify, Silence, Sleep, Knockdown, and Prone. The latter
Knockdown
two
and prone are from a different thing, though.
Yeah. Which he did note.
Yep.
It gets damage resistance X from Shadow, as well as Holy from its NPC from being a demon type.
Yep.
As well as physical damage protection 15, which gives it a +5 on its modifier. The other aspects are trait modifier initiative, enchantment auto condition float, and 2 feats: replenish MP and the extended spell meta magic. Extra attack, so it's going to be doing 2. It's going to be doing 2 attacks. Condition touch, paralyze.
Makes sense for a sleep paralysis demon.
As well as the spells Doom, Blind Needles, Anathema, Sleep Gut, and Night Terror.
Well, you know, I actually kind of like this. This is a pretty nice design.
Yep. As it is a boss, it's certainly going to hit hard, and there was a whole thing about how we need to make better monsters, and here we have this.
Yep. The system works.
So I may end up revisiting the whole building a NPC boss. And hello there, Sig. Welcome to the party. So lastly, we have Bardic Carter's entries, and he did quite a few of them.
Yes, he did.
In fact, he has 7 entries. And he had
In a row?
He had lampshaded the entries that he was going to put in, and stated, "This was interesting. I can actually see myself play as any of these, except the Vanish, but I don't see a better way to translate that into something that isn't either straight abusive or not the Invisible Man. I especially love the Guildmen, who suffer from Ranger Syndrome, useful only in specific geographic locations."
Well, that's only in the world's most litigious RPG. We don't have that situation here.
Yeah.
The Guildmen, if they are only useful in specific geographic locations, might put one of their jobs as Geomancer and make them useful in all geographic locations.
Yep. I also know my entries are short on details. Sorry, not sorry. I deal more in mechanics than flowery language.
And that's fine.
That is fine with us. We did state repeatedly. I have stated very clearly that this is more about testing the mechanics than testing one's ability to write fluff. Because anyone can write fluff. There's nothing ostensibly design mechanic in writing fluff.
Reminder that I, as the editor-in-chief, am also a man who wrote 70% of the fluff in the main core book.
But with each of them, I do appreciate that he's listed out which ones they are based on.
Even though it's kind of obvious.
It's kind of obvious, but you know that
you like the signposting, yeah.
Yeah, and common sense is rarely common.
Oh, I don't call common sense common anymore. I call it general sense, and it's a fucking superpower. Which is rare to use a phrase, one of the most overused and yet one of my most favored phrases from Wuxian Shenxia. It's as rare as phoenix feathers or qilin horns. And for those who don't know what a qilin is, just look up Chinese unicorn.
Yeah. But first we have the vampire, obviously based on Dracula. As the vampire is a greater form of undead, they are strikingly beautiful and charismatic, but have an unnerving, unearthly presence. Fear them, do not trust them.
Nice.
Ability mods are Vigor or Persona. Minor typo there, Vigor of Persona.
The Vigor of Persona. They are so strong because of the way that they look and act. I mean, that's kind of vampiric.
Mission failed successfully.
Yes. I will allow it.
Yep. Origin skill is Presence. Bonus feat categories are Melee Combat, Social, and Subterfuge. Racial feature is Embrace, and he did note that it triggers the one source rule.
Yep. Not the old school Renaissance, the one source rule, our version of the OSR.
Because the old school Renaissance can eat it. I've made that very clear.
Eat my entire ass.
If an attack, spell, or other action would cause the charmed negative status effect, double its duration. A vampire who makes a successful entangle maneuver against a charmed opponent can instead embrace the target, instead of dealing other damage or bull rush options to steal life energy. This embrace does player level ×2 plus PCM damage and heals the vampire by player level ×2 HP.
So the whole, hey, if you're charmed, I get to bite you and suck some life from you. Straight up vampire, yo. I like it.
Yep.
It's straightforward. There's no real bogged down like we saw in some of the stuff in Commodores. It's just, hey, something's charmed and you entangle. Okay, instead of doing other stuff, embrace and heal yourself a bit.
Yep.
Just a new maneuver.
So, optional racial feature, Greater Undead. A vampire is immune to the following negative conditions: battered, poison, and sleep. Additionally, the vampire is always treated as having the zombie negative condition. This cannot be dispelled or lose duration. Health gained from the embrace action is an exception to the zombie condition.
I mean, it basically gives you a way to turn a PC into the NPC category of undead, with some additionals.
Yep. See, then we have Nosferos, based on Nosferatu. The Nosferos, or Disease Bearer, is a striking figure. Sharp nose, bald head, nails as deadly as spikes, and a pale, pallor form that form an unbearable presence. To abide them for any length of time is to bring death and misfortune upon yourself. Willem Dafoe. I kid.
Willem Dafoe's no Nosferatu. He's much more handsome.
When he's not acting completely unhinged.
No, you see, that's when he's at his handsomest one. Come on.
But
tell me that any instance of Willem Dafoe playing the Green Goblin is not some of the best shit he's ever done. You can't. You cannot tell a lie, Monk.
There is only one thing that comes close, and that is anytime he's working with Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Where I don't even think he was given a script. I think he was just told, just be crazy.
Yes, tell Willem Dafoe just be crazy. He's like, that's my Tuesday. That's every Tuesday.
But ability mods for Nosferos is Agility or Spirit. Origin skill is Larceny. Bonus feat categories are Basic Combat, Ambush, and Subterfuge.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people got confused by the fact that ambush feats are listed in the Ultimania as bonus feat categories.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah,
That's our bad.
That's our bad, especially mine. A lot of the races in the Ultimania were the result of a design jam session between Matt and myself.
Yeah. I was busy with real life and could not be involved. Otherwise, I would have called shit out.
Yeah. Racial feature is Noxus Presence. If a Nosferos is involved in a successful grapple, the other party is inflicted with the poison negative condition for a number of rounds equal to the Nosferos' PCM or MCM, whichever is greater.
If I grab you, you're poisoned. That doesn't sound like a Nosferatu. That sounds more like any average Magic the Gathering player. Oh, I didn't say that out loud, did I?
I see that, and I raise you one. Anybody who plays in Smash tournaments.
Oh. No, that's not poison, monk. That's battered. Considering how many assaults have been amongst the Smash player community. I will leave it there because I'd rather not get into details.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think we'd get demonetized further than we already are.
Joke's on them. I never monetized my channel.
I understand that. That's the joke.
You suck, McZan.
But
yeah.
No, and the reason I say the average Magic player is because I really hope I don't know his name, so I just call him the Grand Canyon Revealer. Mr. I'm praying in a suit next to you and your ass crack showing.
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy.
Oh,
everybody knows the meme.
Yep.
I hope he gets to start going back to Magic tournaments soon.
But the optional racial feature for Nosferos is Night Lord. Conrad Kurz, is that you? A Nosferos has damage, absorption, shadow, and poison, and damage vulnerability X, holy, and fire. We don't have poison as a damage type.
Yep. So you could have given it damage, absorption, shadow, and condition, the immunity to the poison negative condition.
Mm-hmm.
That would have worked.
Yeah. But things that in the video games might do poison damage, like the bio spell, just do non-elemental damage for us.
Yeah.
They just have a chance of inflicting poison.
Now, if you had established a way to have poison as a damage type as part of the race, I'd totally accept it.
Mm-hmm.
As this is mostly, true to the vanilla game, we don't have a poison damage type.
Mm-hmm.
So only fix there would be to make yourself immune to the poison condition.
Yep.
Next, we have the Patrick Abomination, who is based on Frankenstein's monster. Pretty obvious from the name.
Yep. Thank you for specifying it, because a lot of people still to this fucking day think the monster is named Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. This creature was once men and women. Now it has been sewn, patched, and fused into an abomination that is only fleetingly resembles what it once was. Its gruesome appearance and mismatched parts are deeply unsettling, almost as much as the keen intelligence lurking behind its heterochromatic eyes. Its ability mods are Vitality or Mind. Its origin skill is Athletics. Makes sense. Bonus feat categories are Basic Combat, Melee Combat, or Ambush. Racial feature. Many parts make a whole. Once per scene, when making a skill roll, you gain a number of boons to that roll equal to your highest unlocked circle. Or instead, once per scene, you may make a knowledge roll for an interest you do not possess as though you had it. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the optional racial feature, Rot. Gain damage reduction to all, except for damage vulnerability to fire, water, lightning, and holy.
That definitely falls into the category of how we suggested optional racial features.
Yeah, that feature is like, oh yeah, DR2 to everything except for all these common things.
Mhm.
Fire and water. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's at least 2 of the Black Mage Trinity in many of the video games.
Well, he has yeah, fire and lightning
Mhm.
from the Black Mage Trinity. Fire, ice, lightning.
Mm-hmm. But then we have.
Well, that's a black mage and a white mage alone are going to be able to shut down a patchwork abomination with that optional race feature.
Mm-hmm. But then we have the Elixir Corrupted, based on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. These individuals found a way to better themselves, to enjoy the finer things in life in anonymity, to be the perfect version of humanity. Unfortunately, it went wrong. Now they stand on a razor's edge between sanity and mammon.
Mammon.
Mhm.
Man, if I have to explain what mammon is, it's going to be a dissertation. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, let's not and say we didn't.
Exactly.
So, ability mods are agility or spirit. Origin skill is orienteering. Bonus feat categories are equipment, skill, or social. Racial feature is Mammon, which does trigger OSR. At will, as an action, you can enter the Mammon state. While in the Mammon state, Vigor, Agility, and Vitality are increased by 3. You gain damage reduction, physical 3, and damage vulnerability, arcane 3. Increase your critical...
Should be full, but that's fine.
Yeah. Increase your critical threshold and critical failure threshold by 2. Gain 30 temporary hit points. This continues until the end of the scene or until you roll a critical failure. After every action or reaction roll, any roll of a d20, increase your critical failure threshold by 1. You cannot choose to enter the Mammon state more than once in a scene. Optional racial...
See, I like this way that they've done Jekyll and Hyde.
It does feel like it's building on the gradual failure approach that we have with the Berserker and Dervish.
Yeah.
But this goes up a lot faster because anytime you make an action or a reaction, which you're going to be doing that a lot, especially in high NPC encounters, not high level things. That's not a thing, but
high numbers of NPCs.
Yeah, the good old 6 imps situation. You're going to be dealing with that, especially if you pick something like, say, Sentinel or Paladin.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah. So because it would be easy to look at the stuff you get out of it and say that this feature is overpowered, but because of how massively fast you're
gonna fail out,
your crit and your botch is going to be going. Is not your critical failure threshold is going to be going up very, very fast.
Yep, you'll eventually fail out,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll be done for the scene.
I don't see anything that says that if you botch, you lose it.
You do. This continues until the end of the scene or until you roll a critical failure.
All right, I missed that part. My bad. But point is,
You read?
if somebody would have to have a 14-karat horseshoe stuck up their ass if they end up being able to survive this form for 3 rounds.
I mean, I could survive it until the end of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
but that's because you keep telling me I somehow have a 14-karat horseshoe up my ass. If it's true, it's very comfortable up there. I never feel it.
It balances out between you and guys like Mike Shell and Monarch. Monarch seems to have some sort of generational curse on him.
Yeah. But there's also an optional racial feature here.
Yep.
Only a matter of time. Anytime you roll a critical failure or are targeted by a critical success that deals damage or adds an effect, enter the Mammon state. Okay, that doesn't seem like a negative feature, but I love the idea of, oh, I fucking failed. No, I'm angry. Or, oh, that hurts. Fuck you. That'd be a way. Yeah. And that's why it says at the end of Mammon, you cannot choose to enter the Mammon state more than once in a scene.
Mm-hmm.
By adding the optional race feature, you could enter it multiple times.
Mm-hmm. But I'd say this very much carries that theme of instability that is in the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yep.
Because it was, in all the different takes on that character, it's never consistent what's going to set him off from switching between the two.
Oh, and I hate to put it this way, but there's actually been a going, quote unquote, analytical theory that there is no Mr. Hyde. It's just Dr. Jekyll being a shit.
Which
That all the chemical really did was release his inhibitions and not actually turn him into a monstrous form.
Oh. And I have seen that, and that feels like something the media literacy crowd would say. But because of the fact that a lot of Gothic horror has a degree of ambiguity, I can see why some people would have that theory.
You've heard that theory, and it sounds like what? You cut out right after you said that.
It sounds like something the media literacy crowd would conjure up.
You mean the bugfucker crowd?
Yeah.
The demon defender crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does kind of sound like that, doesn't it?
Especially given how ambiguous the nature of Mr. Hyde is in the original story.
Yeah.
But I would counter with Gothic horror always has a degree of ambiguity. Like,
yeah,
that's just especially in that era, that kind of ambiguity was just something that was done in part because this is carrying on the horror stories that would be passed orally, and also you only had so many pages when these things were submitted. Like,
yep.
I think Mary Shelley's story was only 12 pages.
Initially, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was expanded further on, but the original version was part of what would be in modern days a writer's workshop.
Yep.
But then we have The Vanished.
The Vanished. I want to read this one. It sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
He said it sounded abusable at the top, so
Mm-hmm.
leave it to Mr. Chaos himself. Obviously, it's based off the Invisible Man. Through an alchemical mishap, these individuals are entirely invisible. Well, almost. You can sometimes see them as they distort the light around them, and if you know what you're looking for, you can find the color of their eyes. The ability mods are agility or mind. The origin skill is misdirection. That makes sense. Bonus feat categories are ambush, fortune, or subterfuge. Racial feature invisible. You have the invisible positive condition and permanently active. This cannot be dispelled or removed. If an action would normally remove the invisible condition, i.e. taking an action, rolling a critical failure, etc., you can be targeted until the start of your next turn, or if you are outside of combat until you move from that position. Anyone targeting you must roll 2 dice instead of 1 for the attempt and take the lower result. This applies only to the d20 and does not affect any boon or bane dice. That's nice. It's just Invisible Man. He says it's abusive, but that's not that abusive.
No.
I mean, invisible doesn't stop people from being able to, like, track your footprints and stuff, or hear you.
That, and I mean, if you do feel that it's abusable, you could put in the rule that you can't have any equipment with it on, but that would require a bit of legwork.
Yeah, you have to be naked to be invisible.
Yeah.
Because that's how the Invisible Man actually worked in the movie. He had to put stuff on to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we have the optional racial feature of distortion. You gain damage absorption. Holy.
Mm-hmm.
I will note that just for Bardic's sake, absorption is ABSORPTION.
Yep.
I understand you just want to write absorb and then TION, and that's honestly so natural, happens to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
But Hydra says, or smell you.
Yeah.
Yes, if the Invisible Man has not taken his shower for a very long time, he's gonna smell like shit.
Hmm.
Um,
Or just break out the dogs or any race that has enhanced smell.
Ronso. Throw
Yep.
in a Ronso.
Ronso or a protector beast.
God, protect. Imagine Red 13. Oh God, you're invisible. I don't care.
Let's see. And Dragon says there are people who think Kimber and Stormer love each other because of the one episode of Gem where they sing a song called "I'm Okay" together. I never saw. That's a look. I won't get into the weeds on that. I will simply say I do not respect the people who unironically use the term media literacy. Much in the same way that I do not respect anyone who defends concepts like death of the author. I have gone into great detail as to why. We have an entire episode of the Geek Watch podcast where we go into the killing off death of the author.
If you want to hear me rage about it, go watch that. It's actually pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. But
you'll probably enjoy it.
Then we have Gilmen, spelled with 2 L's, interesting. Based on the creature from the Black Lagoon. These Piscine amphibious humanoid creatures were once thought to be a missing evolutionary link between man and fish. English.
Man and monk?
They have since dispelled that notion, though they have kept tight-mouthed about their actual ancestry and lineage, other than their devotion to the sacred lagoon. It's beginning to look a lot like fishmen everywhere you go.
Deep ones? What?
Ability mods are Vigor or Persona. Origin skill is Orienteering. Bonus feat categories are Basic Combat, Environment, or Ambush. And Dragon, that wasn't a license to explain the joke. You never do that.
Hold on, before we go much further. If you have to explain the joke, there is no joke!
Thank you. Anyway, racial feature is Child of the Black Lagoon. You gain a number of boons equal to your highest unlock circle to all attack, spell attack, and skill rolls while in, on, or within 50 yalms of a body of water that you can fully submerge into.
Yeah.
Part of me wants... I know what yalms is supposed to be, but part of me wants to say, what the fuck is a kilometer?
What the fuck is a kilometer? I only know burgers per guns.
Optional racial feature, Last Breathe. While fully submerged in water, you immediately succeed all grapple rolls. So, aside from what the hell is a yalm, I can see what was meant earlier about this being highly situational.
Yep.
Because if you're not tied to water or something close, then you are going to be limited.
Well, like I said, why not make them a geomancer?
Yeah. In fact, a Gilman geomancer would be a terrifying thought.
Come into the ocean. We have your doom.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Dagon.
Mm-hmm.
He will turn you into a fishman like us.
But then...
Finally, we have the embalmed ones.
Yep.
Based on the mummy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The embalmed ones are from a time long forgotten, high-ranking nobility whose bodies were preserved perfectly upon the end of their first life. They now join us upon their second attempt at life. Ability mods are Vitality or Spirit. Your origin skill is Presence. Bonus feat categories are Fortune, Social, or Spellcasting. Racial feature, knowledge from an age past. Embalmed ones can choose 3 additional interests that must be studies. This does not count towards their maximum starting interests. Optional racial feature, sacred undead. Embalmed ones are always treated as having the zombie negative condition. This cannot be dispelled or lose duration. Once again, these aren't mummies that seem to be getting immediately aggressive as they come back alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that these are not, again, the Curse of the Mummies tomb mummies.
Yeah. Mostly because it'd be hard to do a player character with that kind of thing.
Yes, you could do an NPC with it, but, well, we already have NPCs that are mummies. Don't we literally have in the undead category mummy?
Yeah. And
Pretty sure we did.
I'm pretty sure, I think that's either in the full...
Dragon already made that joke, Sig.
Yeah. Let me...
I've got the EFIG open. Don't worry about it. Undead. Yeah, mummy, right there, just beneath Lich.
Mm-hmm.
Area notorious with a damage reduction 2 to earth, damage vulnerability 2 to fire. Ability of auto conditioned zombie, permanent and irreversible. It's probably before we tied it into being undead. Or no, we just included it because they are undead.
Mm-hmm.
But spells that they have, Kiraga, Zombify, Sandstorm, and Frigid Touch, and the feat Die Hard.
Yep.
Nice.
So, as far as who's the winner on this, I really, as much as I like what Stellar put in, I really think this is going to come down to Bardic and Commodore. And
if it's going to come down between Bardic and Commodore, it's going to be Bardic for me, and that's primarily because of the Patrick Abomination.
Yeah, I think that now with Commodore, there were a lot of bangers that they had. I think the thing that puts Bardic over the edge isn't the number per se, but the fact that with each of them, it's not overstaying on the crunch.
Yeah, the Commodore had some interesting ideas, but a lot of it felt like it would bog down game flow,
and
or make things a little more difficult to calculate. Whereas Bardic kept his digestible, I guess is the best word. And
especially now the Blob and the tributes to the Blob and to Little Shop of Horrors, those are pretty good. Though some of the optional features could use a bit of fat trimming. It was the tribute to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that I think we had the biggest issue with, because I could easily I could see that being a problem.
Yeah, the entire Hyde being a condition, and you also roll dice as part of the condition, and the condition can fall off, and if you do really badly on the dice roll with the condition, you have to attack one of your allies. There's a lot of moving parts. It's going to bog the game state down, and it's also like just really convoluted. I get the idea. I like what he's going for. I just feel like a little more streamlined would have been better. Comparing, for example, his Jekyllite to the Elixir Corrupted, Mammon and Only a Matter of Time play into each other, for one, and for two, and just like over on Commodore's, his Hyde and his optional racial feature tied into each other. But Mammon here is just, hey, you can choose to do this and you get this stuff, and your critical failure threshold is going to continue to increase, and once you crit fail, you fall out and can't choose to do it again. But if you have the optional racial feature, then anytime you're hit with a crit fail or targeted by critical success that deals damage or adds an effect, then you enter it again anyway. But it really is the Patrick Abomination that does it for me. I really like the take on Frankenstein's monster. It just feels really fun. It's got a lot of flavor to it too, because you've got. Let's just. My favorite thing about the Patrick Abomination is many parts make a whole, because it gives you the ability to pull shit out of your ass based on the fact that you're made up of a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. And the rot racial feature is just like, oh yeah, I'm strong against a lot of stuff, but fire, water, lightning, holy damage, oh god, keep it away.
Mm-hmm. Which if I do this racial challenge again, I think it would be very interesting to see people try and tackle the Predator.
But if you do the Predator, you'll also have to do the Xenomorph.
Tempting, but when I try to imagine a Xenomorph as a PC working with other people, I can't.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I will give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have to see them try to design a xenomorphic race in anyway. If nothing for the shits, giggles, and laughter we will get at people trying to mental gymnastics their way on how they're going to make players into xenomorphs.
Yeah. To be quite honest, I think and Six says, do the bugs from Starship Troopers. No. If it's a stretch with the Xenomorph, it is an absolutely not with the fucking bugs.
Sig, my response to you is, my name is Rico and I'm from Buenos Aires and I say kill them all!
And
yes, Hydra, we know that you would pander to yourself.
A little bit on the nose there, and well, the problem with Hydra is the issue now something like a classic mythical thing like unicorns or centaurs or like those I could see working. The dividing line between the ones that I could see working and the ones that I can't is how well they can play with others. A unicorn can play with others. We've seen it happen. They're very strict about it.
Picky.
We've seen it happen. A Pegasus, we've seen it happen. Even if it got screwed over in the end because Greek myth. But a Hydra, I don't know about that. First off, you have the problem of Hydras being too damn big. It's kind of like the issue of why we would never put in a full-on dragon kind of race.
What's a Hydra?
What's a paladin?
What's what?
A chant that got really out of hand.
Who are you again? If anybody doesn't get that reference, things are sometimes false, but not always.
And he said, "I meant his creature NPCs." Well, that can be built.
I'm pretty sure we have a Hydra in
yeah.
the beast category somewhere.
And Amal says, "Kobolds can play with others even if other PCs want to punt them." D&D kobolds, yes. Kobolds in console RPGs, why would you want to punt the doggos?
You are not allowed to punt my precious baby boys. If you fucking punt a kobold from Japan, I will punt you to the sun.
But
they are the most perfectest doggos, and you deserve death.
Now, that being said, I did put it in there. So Bardic, whenever you happen to be watching this, congratulations on winning the October challenge, and I do see we have a few entries for the November challenge already.
We do have to special mention that since Commodore was the only one who did the boss bonus challenge and did a really good job at it, special kudos goes to Commodore as well. Stellar, I really liked your mummy. Like your mummy race was really cool. But you know, there has to be a winner. None of y'all are losers. There's just someone who's got a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. So I'm putting special kudos for the inclusion of the bonus challenge. So I will note I did the November challenge is already up.
Of course you would bring up MGE. Of course you would.
But the November challenge is already up. There has been some misinterpretation of the November challenge, but November is the month of the harvest. This month's challenge is essence casting. Basically, making a casting system that utilizes essences that are found in the item synthesis part of chapter 11 instead of using standard MP. You can't make new jobs for this. The buy-in for this kind of casting has to be a feat. You can do feat chains, but each feat must fit within an existing category and follow the rules of feat chains. Only the existing spell lists are allowed. This is using essences as an MP alternative, not an alternate spell list entirely. Obviously, this means no new spells can be added, and one spell list per entry. Each individual entry must be tied to one spell list. For example, your submission can't be used for black and white magic. Gotta be one or the other. And it might be a little bit on the nose, but I had to use one of the alchemist images from Sword World for this. But with that said, we're going to take a bit of a break for a few minutes while I prep everything for examining FF4. So we'll see you in about 5.
Yeah.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and looking at the chat. Mario, thank you for the $5 that just got home for having dinner with the family. Thanks for the after show. Stay frosty, gents. Much appreciated, Mario. Seen art of my character from Sword World, essentially a dusky, horned, only like stacked muscle mommy. You should have known we were both men of culture a long time ago. Like saying, what is that? Wasn't that Arya? Been trying to sit and listen
That
to
is
that.
Arya.
Learn more about how Sword World is played, and yeah, it was. And I'm going to post one. I'm going to post one of the art that I have for that, because we had that, and we had Neff's character who was a maid sniper,
a robot maid sniper.
Mm-hmm.
And then for all of you really sick fuckos out there, Kay's character was a rabbit.
A rabbit who I end up conjuring images of Cat from Red Dwarf because of how much she was complaining.
Yep. But yes, Arya is absolutely my character from the Sword World campaign, and the art is glorious. Kay made some very good art for the game, and Monk has just been kind of passing around an endgame art form of her to various people, commissioning them, and there's some fun stuff.
Yeah, and Sig, if you're curious, I put one of those pieces in the tabletop thread on my Discord. And he goes, I also see Booba, and yeah.
Yes. She's stacked. Didn't I just say that?
Mm-hmm. But back to the matter at hand. So, Final Fantasy IV. What a lot of people refer to as Final Fantasy II. I've had to deal with a couple people who still call it that. They're wrong. Obviously, we are now out of the NES era and into the SNES era, where things are going to get a hell of a lot easier.
Tab's favorite Final Fantasy? Cool.
It is certainly up there with one of mine. It's probably had one of the most covered soundtracks in the whole series.
It and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's 6 and 7. Those three are probably the top 3.
Yep. It is the first and only time that Final Fantasy has had a 5-person party. We also had several nations with their own coats of arms within the manual. You had the easy version and the hard version. I feel bad for anybody whose first introduction to Final Fantasy IV was the Chronicles port, because that was the hard type.
My first introduction to 4 was the hard type on purpose. It's like, screw this shit. I'm not going to do this easy.
Yeah. And obviously there was the DS port sometime later. I have not played the DS port personally.
I have. It's not a port, Monk. It is a remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of like how Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a port. For all of you naysayers out there.
Yeah. If somebody's surprised about a setup not just being a port but adding some stuff in, to that I say first time, because this is what they do. This is what they've been doing for decades. Anytime that there is a port or a remake or a remaster, there's always something added. FF2 had an entire second story arc and dungeon added in for its ports. You know, the anthology entry, which is how a lot of people in the States first got access to 5, which we'll get to in a couple weeks, added whole ass cutscenes.
Yep.
Also added that for 6, but but 6 was already out. So there's I'd say this is also where a lot of the more iconic jobs that are exclusive to FF really coalesced.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Paladin is a class in plenty of RPGs before that, but Paladin in this form was first introduced in 4. I did say when we covered 1 that the Knight was a proto-Paladin, but the identity wasn't settled until 4, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And looking at the archetypes that were coalesced here, it highlights something I had said previously regarding Dragon Quest and why I feel Dragon Quest started to lose some of its footing as we got into the SNES era. That's not to say it fell off, but it just was losing ground.
Yeah.
A lot of when it started doing vocations, which I think was 5, and then retroactively done in previous games. The classes that they did for the vocation system felt like the standard fantasy classes you would see in anything else. You know, warrior, priest, sage, which is basically their version of wizard, martial artist, etc.
Yeah.
And a lot of them play very much how you would expect them to, without a whole lot of aside from the unorthodox way that Dragon Quest handles spell naming. A lot of them felt like what I would expect the similar ones in Wizardry to play like. And
yeah,
I had said before, part of the reason Dragon Quest gradually lost its footing was it stuck to tradition when everybody else was doing that and more. Now, that was also a bit of the case with the NES era, but it was very much a case in the SNES era. Not only just because you had more people making RPGs, but also the fact that they were doing them and doing experimental concepts. And I think that's also the reason why I'm more likely to see a Dragon Quest TTRPG. I'm less likely to see a Dragon Quest TTRPG than I am to see elements of that folded into a FF1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And believe me, I have looked for TTRPGs that are specifically building around Dragon Quest. And most of the time when I find something close, Dragon Quest is used as part of an aggregate. Now, getting back to FF4, the other big thing that was introduced, and one that we have talked about plenty of times, is the introduction of the active time battle system. And this is where, once again, we have to bring up that one interview with our GOAT, Hiroyuki Ito.
Yep. Hiroyuki Ito.
The
man responsible for most of the good things in Final Fantasy's background.
Yep. And I'm going to keep bringing his name up because some of you need to put some respect on his damn name. But for a bit of context, in recent years, there has been a bit of a shit fit among some grognards within the space regarding recent FF entries leaning more into action. We have countered with the fact that this was something that was lampshaded all the way back in 1991. Yep. And part of why we say that is one interview that was done with the now defunct 1UP magazine in 2011 as part of the promotion for Final Fantasy XII. And I'll let Zan take over on this part.
Alrighty. So, with Hiroyuki Ito, there was an interview with 1UP. They asked him a damn good question, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, Wayback Machine is loading that article. Thank you, Wayback Machine.
Yep.
Because I'd rather quote this properly than fuck it up. Remember, around here we may not be journalists, but we don't have to be because we're better than them.
Hmm.
But if it
And it's not like we can just look it up from the magazine itself, because again, One Up's been defunct for over a decade now.
yeah. So Ito has been with Final Fantasy since the beginning, for one. He's an employee of Square before Final Fantasy was even developed. And when they got to talking about the battle system with Final Fantasy, he created the original battle systems, for one, all the way back on 1. And he thought about sports, professional sports. First, he quotes that he thought about the NFL and American football. Plays are pre-planned. Each side has a strategy. Yeah. And after the original Final Fantasy, he went on to work again where we're at now, 4, 5, 6, 9, and as of the time of the publication, also Tactics and 12. And his role was mostly the same for those. He doesn't do anything with the story, and he is very much the mechanical engineer. And then it starts with One Up magazine stating that they interviewed Tokita Takashi previously, talking about Final Fantasy IV, and told One Up magazine that Ito was hugely responsible for the active time battle system. And what Ito had to say was, even at the time when games weren't doing that kind of thing, I felt that battles in those types of games would be done in real time eventually. That's what I predicted. What I did for that game was to say, well, how can we get it closer to real time since we can't do it completely right now? That's how this whole system came about, getting closer and closer to real-time battles. But at the same time, I felt that if we put too much of an action element in the game, that would alienate users. The theme I came up with was an action-like game with no action elements. That was what I was aiming for, sort of. Something without the hardcore reflex action elements. And he talks about his love of Formula One racing and how that figures into his design ethos as well.
Mm-hmm.
And even about how the ATB changed a lot between 4, 5, and 6. And he just says it was a natural progression. System wasn't complete.
Yeah, since a lot of people forget this, but the whole idea of an ATB gauge, I don't think that was a thing until either 5 or 6. I think it was 5 where you had a visible gauge. You didn't have that in the SNES version of 4.
Yeah. But the biggest thing here is Ito saw all the way back during the development of Final Fantasy IV that RPGs would eventually go real time, full on action. So all those people going, it's not really Final Fantasy if it is turn based, are fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. And on Tuesdays, I am playing Battle Chasers Night War, which is very much channeling the flexible turn-based approach from 10. And I always get annoyed when people act like turn-based RPGs are some lost art, or something that's fallen by the wayside until the newer thing comes along. To the point where I want to use the memory of a goldfish meme about it. But the idea that it has to be turn-based in order for it to be FF. They do not have that.
that energy is very inconsistent.
That's what we call small PP energy.
Yes, and we don't mean PowerPoint. But I'd have to double check whether. But I think for a lot of people, the first time they saw a visible gauge with it was 6. But I'm trying to recall if it was in 5 as well.
I think there are ATB gauges in 5.
Yeah, what I need to see is if it was, because obviously in the GBA version that was the case, which was just a port of the WonderSwan version.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm looking for is whether or not that was the case with the SNES version. And yeah, I double checked. Yes, 5 had a visible gauge for the first time.
Yep.
They also dropped charge times, which was a thing in the original version of 4. I don't think they would use the charge time in that way until Tactics, which is a whole other kettle of fish.
Tactics, and then in 12.
Mm-hmm. But there were a lot of bosses that would have these states that were blatantly shouting at you, do not attack during this or you're going to pay for it. That's basically the whole point of the Mist Dragon boss fight. It is meant to be the big test of you can't just do fights the way you may have done in the original or 3 or even 2 for that matter. You have to understand timing. If you don't understand timing, you're going to lose against the Mist Dragon because you're not that powerful yet. There Fiona's saying, "Look, you adorable and shirtless people. The only one here without a shirt is Zan."
Yes, I am not wearing a shirt. This is true.
Yep. But
you can touch my chest if you want to, Riona.
The big now even though the job system wouldn't return proper until 5, a lot of the, I feel like with 4 we have this attempt to do a middle ground between the nature nurture thing that was kind of a back and forth with the first 3 games. And I do remember, as far as why we had a full thing of 5 this time around. I don't know if it was ever stated, but I look at 5 as one of the first instances that rationalizes why I handled equipment the way that I do. Because you look at certain characters and their job archetype and their equipment aren't the typical fare. I think a big example of this would be Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
Who is a white mage but is using a bow, when most people would assume white mages would use a hammer because cleric. But
yeah,
we have. I know you said that we shouldn't go into the after years, but because of some of the characters that are in that, I think at the very least we should give them a bit of a once over, as well as the whole moon system that was in the after years. Now interlude, we can skip that.
Okay.
But so first we have Cecil. Now the question is, we did Cecil in the core book, but that was based more on his appearance in Dissidia, where he's stance dancing between Paladin and Dark Knight. Dark Knight being his ground game and Paladin being his air game. should we do that here, or should we have a version of Cecil as Paladin and a version of Cecil as Dark Knight?
I think we should have one and then the other because I'm pretty sure they change pretty drastically, Monk.
Yeah. So let's go. Yeah, and yes, with a lot of entries in the core book, I did draw upon Dissidia for them because there wasn't a whole lot to go on if I was just using the original game at the time. But that was an early thing. That's not as much of an issue now. So as far as Dark Knight, obviously with both of these, the class is warrior. Job, I'd say for obviously Dark Knight is one of them.
Yeah.
But would you go with with fighter or weapon master?
I think his whole thing's never about changing up weapons a lot. His whole, like, most of the time you're probably going to have a sword on Cecil, on Dark Knight Cecil. I mean, even on Paladin Cecil, you would probably be using swords. If I remember correctly, it's all he could equip, wasn't it?
Yeah, just dark swords. So
Yeah.
I think weapon master is a must.
Yeah.
Weapon master
Yeah,
and Dark
weapon
Knight
master.
would make an easy fast and medium.
Yep.
As far as the third entry,
General. He
yeah.
led the Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Also, now that I've said the word Red Wings, that's stuck in my head. Ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
Ba 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 ba.
I'm also putting a side thing
ba,
of
ba.
airships as interest, because the Red Wings was essentially an airship squadron.
Mm-hmm.
Which does make me wonder, in an alternate universe, he'd be the equivalent of the Red Baron. But as far as the Paladin version of Cecil, would you still go? Obviously, Paladin is replacing Dark Knight, but would you still keep Weapon Master, or?
I don't think Weapon Master would apply as much anymore because I believe at that point he can equip swords and rods, can't he?
Yeah, let me see. Equipment. So first there was dark swords, but there's only 3 of them. Then weapons, axes, bows, arrows, daggers, staves, swords, and holy swords.
But again, you're probably just going to be equipping holy swords and shields.
Yeah. So.
I mean, probably. Not necessarily, but probably.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It says maybe for the Dark Knight part, draw a bit on the Dark Knight from Bravely Second and use HP for Dark and other sources for Paladin. I already did that.
Trying to think. I think.
Mario, no, I know you're fishing for a holy boots joke. But Yeah, several of the jobs I already drew from Bravely Default and Bravely Second. By the time
Yes, we did.
By the time I got a hold of Bravely Default 2, a lot of the stuff in there was stuff I already covered, so I didn't draw from that. And
Yep.
same with Octopath. Plus, I feel like Octopath deserves its own system rather than piggybacking off of this.
Yes. Considering that after he becomes a paladin, Cecil's much more geared towards defense and survivability, I would
Sentinel?
actually say he is. Huh?
Sentinel?
Yeah, I was gonna say paladin, sentinel, white mage, because he does get white magic.
Mhm. Yeah, he doesn't get as many as Rosa, but I think within our system he'd be able to better fulfill the white magic role than in the SNES entry.
Mhm.
And a big reason for that is we're not really doing the half-caster thing. In fact, I don't like doing the half-caster thing.
Mhm.
And a big reason why I don't like doing that is a lot of times when you have those sort of hybrid classes in games, they don't have anything to balance them out from the people who are fully invested. Like, for example, a lot of the Gish archetypes, they don't have anything that lets them stand out between a dedicated fighter or a dedicated caster.
Hmm.
There are certain exceptions, like say the Magus in Pathfinder, which if you do it as a straight fighter or caster, you're doing it wrong. You are meant to do it as a hybrid, and a lot of its kit is built around that.
Yeah.
But through cover and the like, Cecil as a paladin is definitely more tanky. And the whole thing with different weapons that can be equipped, I look at that as a case of the false choice thing we were trying to avoid. Like the whole, oh, you can equip any weapon you want as a warrior in FF11, but you are inevitably going to equip a great axe. But so then we have Kane Highwind, the man who became the iconic dragoon for whole generations, mostly because Ricard wasn't really the dragoon in the sense that we know it.
No, it's because you have Kane and he betrays you so many fucking times.
Yeah, there's one of the recurring things that became kind of a joke was the hypnotic, under hypnotic control thing. You have to knock their ass out. That happened like,
Hi Kane, bye Kane.
yeah, that happened
Fuck
multiple
you.
times with Kane, and I think at least once with Yang.
Well, Yang was actually like brainwashed and shit.
Yeah. But for Kane Highwind, we are still going with warrior, obviously. For job, I have to go with, I'd say weapon master again, because you're not going to use anything but lances with him.
Yep.
Dragoon. And let's see. I would say maybe for the third one. See, this is the third one is always going to be the tricky one with these.
I mean, that's because a lot of the time the third one has to come from. Let me look at something here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Liam O'Brien, Kane Highwind is doing today. He's voiced by Liam O'Brien in the DS version and in Dissidia, obviously.
Yeah, I would say, given his setup, what about Sword Saint?
Let me check something here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking his. I'm not so sure about Sword Saint. Let me look here. No, Monk. No, it's been staring us in the face and we just didn't notice it.
What?
Covert ops.
Yeah.
This motherfucker gets covert ops. Because fuck you, that's why. Fuck you. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Mine is an evil laugh.
Kane the cuck.
Wait, so Kane gets the Maddox chair? Although these days should have called it the Dick Masterson chair.
Ooh.
Okay. Much like with Cecil, I think with Rydia we should do it twice. As a child and as an adult, because she does change her kit drastically.
Drastically is an overstatement, no offense.
Yeah.
Because the only real change is that she loses white magic after becoming an adult.
That is, I think that's still enough of a difference to warrant two versions of her.
I'm just saying that the word drastically is an exaggeration. Yes, her child version is summoner, black mage, white mage, clearly. Whereas her adult version is going to be summoner, black mage, and I don't know.
Let's see. I'd say
Summoner, black mage, mediator. She had to help mediate all the summons of the moon or summons in the summoning world with you, and talk to fucking Ashura and Bahamut and everybody, and convince them to help you, and then beat the shit out of them to take them as summons.
And you know, by endgame, Rydia is basically fills the role of ambassador between the world of summons, anyways.
Yes, thus mediator.
So then we have Tella. Tella has to get Sage. So I'd say
Tella forgets Sage? Yes.
I'd say Sage, Scholar.
Hold on. Let me look here. I mean, Sage and Scholar both make sense.
I'm not gonna do the whole his HP decreases as he levels up, because I get why that's done, but no.
That was stupid. I hated that.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, it's not like he's aging with every level. You don't need to actually do that.
Mhm. But I know it'd be tempting to give him Red Mage as well.
Nah, Scholar covers that already.
Mhm. I'll just put in as a sidebar his scholar pair is black and white magic.
Yeah.
And as far as the third one, honestly, I'm thinking Cosmic Mage because you do see him casting Comet.
Meteo and a few others. Yep. That works. Works for me.
Yeah. That'd be his slow track.
Tella very, very magical.
Mm-hmm. So then we have the Spoony Bard himself, Edward Chris von Muir.
You know what? I love that his name is a long name. I love that fact, but his name in fucking Japanese is Gilbert.
That is stupid.
It's Girubato.
Mm-mm.
Gilbert. So he's gonna get Entertainer, but he's also gonna get Chemist because he has the ability to split potions, and this is just an extension of that.
Yep, so Entertainer, Chemist, and Noble.
And Noble. Yep.
So, because he starts out as a prince and later becomes king. And let's see. So then we have Rosa. Rosa Farrell.
Yep.
The centerpiece of the first love triangle within the series.
The centerpiece of the first love line, Monk. It's not even a triangle. She has no feelings for Kane. This is an A-B conversation that Kane can't seem to see his way out of.
But
Motherfucker.
But when it comes
She's...
First off, I think I think Mage should be the class for her. And
Yep. She's gonna be White Mage and Sniper.
Yep, White Mage, Sniper, and Medic.
Yeah, Medic makes sense too. Medic!
Remember, the enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand.
Medic!
So then...
Good old
Yang Feng Leiden.
Yay.
No, Ruby
Obviously...
fans, sit the fuck down. We're not talking about you. And especially you Bumblebee shippers, sit the fuck down.
Obviously, he is warrior and monk for the first things.
Yep. I would say monk, dervish. And it is very tempting to have him susceptible to sleep unless he gets hit with a frying pan, but no, I'm not doing that.
Nah.
But I would, although given the fact that in the after years he gets cover counter, I'd say Fencer.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't feel like there's enough justification for that.
Mm-hmm. So if not, the other reason I'm thinking that is because yeah, kick is his AoE attack, obviously.
Yeah.
But focus allows him to do double damage on his basic attacks, even if he has to wait a bit. We already kind of have that with charge attack, which can be upgraded to deadly, which does triple damage. Though, given the way focus works, maybe Sword Saint instead, since there is that theme of building up to when it comes to doing focus.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking Weapon Master, but no, that doesn't quite do it.
No, Sword Saint definitely fits better.
Mm-hmm. So then, Palom and Porum. Here's the question: should we do them as a pair?
No, they are two separate people. Sure, they have twin spell, but that's a thing that you would like. That's a thing you would have to design homebrew for.
Yeah, because we don't really have something for spell combos. Which anyone who tries to do a Chrono Trigger campaign with this system, good luck, because combos is gonna be one of the things you're going to have to address.
Yeah.
Also,
But
rock and stone. If you're not rock and stone, you're not going home.
rock and stone.
But let's see.
Palom starts first.
Yep. So both of them are mages. I'm getting that right out of the gate.
And Palom is a black mage.
Mm-hmm. So black mage. Ravager.
Yeah, I can see black mage and Ravager. And then I can also see hold on, let me see here. Dynamo, to be honest. To simulate how bluff works. Because you can't really simulate bluff.
Yeah. Not to mention the way bluff is described. Honestly, it wouldn't be that interesting to simulate in a tabletop game, because it is that number go up thing that we were doing our best to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as Porum,
She's a white mage.
yep. Let's see, white mage. Given the way Cry works of increasing odds of stealing, and in the complete collection inflicting confuse. Thief.
Yeah. I'd say Porum gets white mage and thief and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
She'll steal your heart.
As far as the third one, I think both of them are going to get Rapture.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
can see that. Try and make up for the fact that we can't really do twin cast in the system right now.
the only way we have as twin cast is the capstone for red mage, and neither of them fit the bill as a red mage.
Yeah. We'd have to give them a magic item or something.
Because I
And
feel
besides,
like
their twin cast is way different than ours.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention being able to cast 2 spells in one action. That is very much going to be some kind of capstone thing or something
on a limited basis, like the action surge for warrior. But then we have Sid, who, when I was a kid, I called Sid the beaver.
I mean, I can't blame you considering his sprite.
Yeah.
Obviously he's going to be expert engineer for one.
Yep. Because I thought he was one too. Hey, you look at the sprite and that giant ass dwarven beard, and how could I not see that and think of like a beaver or a badger? I went with beaver instead of badger because I must remind you all, I'm from Minnesota. I am not like one of those folks who need to remind you of their origin to try and piggyback off of somebody else. But I do have, but there are plenty of local memes that I bring up, and one of them is the eternal hatred of anything Wisconsin. It's nothing personal. It's just generational hatred. Well, hatred's a strong word. More of throwing snowballs at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And Sid goes, Sid, the only man who can blow himself up and survive.
I mean, Sid's really simple as a character, and you don't really have him for a super long time, which kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But
he is getting chemist
for his 3D appearance.
Yeah, especially for the upgrade ability.
Okay, and I would give him Weapon Master since all he ever uses is hammers.
Yeah, hammers and axes, but given
those are the same class of weapon in the fucking game. I'm sorry. Yep. One just does slashy, the other one does smashy bashy.
Yep. And they're not really given a whole lot of distinction between each other in a lot of the games. Blew himself up while jumping off an airborne airship. That is what we call a improvised evacuation. Let's see. Then we have Edge. You think you know me? Wait, wrong one. It somehow survives awesome. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want in this story logic. That's basically every story that Caiaphas Cain has ever been in.
Yep. Heh 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 heh. Heh 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 heh. See, Sig? This is what you get!
Look, I always liked Edge, and I still like him even nowadays as Coat. I know I asked for this. Yes, you did. And I like it. I like Edge in FF4. He is, even if he is a bit of a dickhead, he's that kind of dickhead who you'd want to have, who would have your back.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Warrior, obviously. Ninja.
Yeah.
Thief.
Although Ninja is an adept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would, if he's going to be warrior, it's going to be dervish ninja thief.
Yep, that was my plan, because the closest thing that we have to dual wielding is just taking a weapon with the swarm tag.
Yep.
But his whole multi-attacking kind of thing is very much dervish.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a bit of an aside, while I was doing research, I was reminded of why I keep laughing at the art that the cast got from Nintendo Power for both 1 and 4. Because good lord, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever seen the art that and the art was done by Katsuya Terada, but I feel like he wasn't given the full notes. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen some of that concept art, or the art that was used for the guide in Nintendo Power. It was
Yes. I'm not. I don't want to remember.
I had to look through that whole thing when I was doing research for covering FF1.
I know.
Yep. And last but not least, the biggest beard in Final Fantasy, Fusoya.
Fusoya?
Yep.
Fusoya. He's gonna be a mage.
So, mage. Incidentally, his Amano art has him as nothing but beard. What the hell?
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his Amano art, and then, I mean,
His sprite is mostly beard and hair.
Oh.
So,
in some sprites, yes, this is true.
But let's see.
No, that's not all beard, Monk. It's just that his beard blends into his robe. Also, I have to say that what this art reminds me of most of all, his Amano art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he looks like?
What?
What do you think he looks like, Monk? I think the way with his... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say a demon cat. I was gonna say he looks like a Bakeneko.
Not quite where I was going with. With the way his hands are taloned, I say he looks like a giant demon owl.
I can go with that.
But I mean, it's Fusoya. He's not a demon at all.
Yeah. And Stig brings up Black Wolf from Wizards, but let's see.
He gets black and white magic all the way up to the best black and white magic, which means he also gets cosmic magic.
So I'd say Black Mage, White Mage, Cosmic Mage. I don't think he should get Scholar.
No, I don't think he needs Scholar. He's just a very powerful very powerful caster that you get for a small part of the game.
So now, when it comes to the after years, a lot of the characters who carried over, they more or less didn't change. They're with one exception, who I will get to in a moment. So, Interlude was a mid-quill that mostly had the same cast, so there's no reason to really delve into that. When it comes to the after years, obviously I'm more referring to the ports, not the original version, because I didn't have a Wii at the time that it had its WiiWare run, and I only played it in the complete version in the PSP, and obviously I wasn't playing the phone version because I don't do mobile games. I've made that very clear. And eventually I did try the 3D remake, which is probably the best way to play it, but a lot of the main cast returned with not a whole lot of changes to their kit. Like I said, the one exception to this rule is Kane. And I do think this is one that should be addressed.
You mean the fact that he's not a dragoon at first?
So there are two takes that we have. We have him as the Wanderer, and then eventually as the Hooded Man, and eventually as the Holy Dragoon.
Yeah.
The Hooded Man, I don't think there's enough meat on the bones to really do that.
Nope.
Holy Dragoon, on the other hand, I believe there is, and it was his EX mode in Dissidia.
I mean, that's true.
So, I would say for that, it's Weapon Master, Dragoon, and Paladin.
Let me take a look here real quick at everything he has in the after years, because there's a lot. There's a lot of things to look for. Nozzle nautical. Okay, abilities: jump, handful of white magic spells. I don't think he should get Paladin.
She should get White Mage?
Yes. He doesn't get cover at all. He gets white magic.
Mm-hmm. And probably have it that his that his spears have elemental holy.
Yeah.
But and some of the other characters that are listed as returning, I don't think there's enough meat on the bones to use them. Like say Biggs and Wedge.
Well, I mean, we have to look at returning playable characters.
Mm-hmm. So
having Cecil, Rosa, Rydia, Young, Sid, Edge, Palamentorum, Edward, Fusoya, they're all basically the same in After Years.
Yeah.
I mean, they get the additional mechanics that the After Years had, like banding abilities, but that's...
We'll get to that in a minute.
Doesn't change... Yeah. Well, that also doesn't change what they are.
Mm-hmm. So, since Golbez is playable, I think that should be addressed. I know we technically addressed him before in the core book, but I think revisiting that is paramount. So...
You want After Years Golbez specifically, yep. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. He's a black mage with the ability to paralyze and taunt enemies. He's also got pretty high physical fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could make him Black Mage Fencer because of the taunt.
Alright, so... And... I know it would be tempting to go with Dark Knight, but he doesn't really use darkness.
No, I would actually give him let's see here.
Magic Knight?
Yeah, Magic Knight works.
And because of that, I think he should get Adept, because he is kind of a Gish. He's able to be a decent attacker, a decent mage, but the more dedicated versions of both will outclass him.
Yeah.
So, I'd say that's definitely the case with him. And so then we have the newer ones. Theodore.
I think the problem we're going to have with the new characters, such as Seador, etc. Seador is his father's son.
Mm-hmm. As much as this might be a stretch, I think one of the changes that we can go with for Seador is to give him one of the yokai. I'm thinking Alexander or Eden, because he's far more of a caster than a fighter.
Yes, but my problem is that Seador is his father's son.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be, instead of warrior, he'll be mage, since he's much more mage focused. But he's still gonna have paladin, because he does get cover, and he's still gonna have white magic. So he'll be white mage.
I'd say white mage and medic.
Yeah, inherits that from Mommy Dearest. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And 6 is Theodore is Cecil, but worse.
No, Seador is Cecil, but different.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. And as far as Ursula,
Young's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a faster monk.
Yeah.
I mean that. She's literally just a faster monk.
Although because of the way Tenketsu can introduce elemental damage, I'm thinking Monk and Magic Knight.
Okay. But then what for the third is a real question.
I would say let's see, Monk. Then we have let's see, what did I give? So I'd say Monk, Magic Knight, and given the way Tenketsu works, which can either be a crit, deal elemental damage, or one-hit KO. Actually, no, because of her having a high speed.
Yeah.
The only people who can outspeed her are Tsukinoa and Edge. I'm thinking Thief.
I'm not so sure that fits. I know Thief plays around with initiative a lot, but I don't feel that the rest of Thief's kit thematically fits her.
If not that, then probably Probably Dynamo.
I can see Dynamo. Battlefield pressure.
Because
But honestly, I don't think going through the Eblin 4 or any of the others is going to be...
yeah, the Eblin the Eblin 4, each of those would be more like support characters. Harley, on the other hand, I think there is something to. Especially since
She's got Merchant. She has to have Merchant.
Yep, so I'd say Merchant. Since she has that. There's also the fact that she had some blue mage abilities in some of the dummied content.
Yeah, but dummied content isn't canon, Monk. It doesn't count.
Yeah. And while she does have Piercing Sight, which is basically a reincarnation of Scan, we don't have Scan, we have Libra, which is a blue mage thing. I would say... given the fact that Piercing Sight can talk about giving an enemy a new weakness, I'm thinking Merchant, Black Mage, and
Chemist.
Spirit. Yeah, I was gonna say Spirit Master, but no, Chemist is better.
Well, because she can do things with some of her band abilities to create items.
Yep. So that covers Harley. And let's see then. Mid is not one we're putting in because mid doesn't.
Yeah, he's not a.
He's not playable.
Yep, he's just there.
Though if I'm being honest, if someone really wanted to put the Eblin 4 in, I'd put them in as NPCs. Potential follower NPCs, but NPCs nonetheless. Because I don't think there's enough meat on the bones for them to be their own setup. And as far as the whole concept of bans as combination attacks, I think that's something that's way too context sensitive. I know it was tempting to put Leonora, but remember what you said about being a chip off the old block when it came to Sayador? I think that very much applies when it comes to Leonora. Because she is described as a sage, and a lot of her stuff is being able to cast black and white magic. What?
The big thing is that Leonora just feels like a another addition to the Palimporum.
Pretty much, which is why I didn't put her. Which is why I didn't put her on the list.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that one's off the list. As far as the temp player characters, there's definitely not enough meat on the bones for that.
Yep.
I think that covers all of the characters. When it comes to the relationship with the twin moons, how would you handle that?
Say that again. You cut out a bit.
When it comes to the twin moons thing, how would you handle that?
Do you mean in what fashion?
I'm referring to the way the moon
Like-
phases can affect black and white magic.
Oh, that's a. See, the problem I have with trying to do that is it doesn't. That's at that point our system isn't made for that. We'd have to make something custom because now we're going world specific.
Yeah. Well, all of these are on some level world specific.
Yeah. The hold on, let me look at the moon phases. I mean, you could have the moon phases change every time the party goes to the downtime phase. That way you're not constantly trying to keep track of the moon phases as because a party can go on the adventure, can go into our exploration phase for a very long time. Their downtime phase isn't until they get back to someplace safe to consolidate all their gains and losses. So every time you hit the downtime phase, the moon phase can change. And I mean,
give me a moment. I'm going to see
was...
how some of our colleagues handled it.
Okay.
Specifically, how Bruno handled it, since he did put that in the FF4 World Book.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So, new options. Let's see, new summon monsters. That's not what I need. Combine spells. That would just be a reforming of band. Wait, was it? I think it was either 4th edition or Zodiac.
I'd also like to point out that the real Edward of this game is Edge.
What makes you say that?
His official name is Edward Geraldine. Edge is a nickname.
That is fair.
And that was even listed on his artwork in the Final Fantasy IV complete collection and other collector cards as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two Edwards. One of the Edwards isn't actually named Edwards. That's just the name he got in English.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Gilbert.
could have swore this was in 4th edition. Unless I'm looking in the wrong PDF.
That may be the case.
Yep. So it's not in there. Yeah, I could have swore it was in there. It was in there, but I guess I may have had things crosswired from looking at so many different things at once. That is a distinct possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Omega didn't cover FF4 in either 1st or 2nd edition. He only covered. He only covered the. He only covered tactics because so many people within the community have tactics brain rot, or can't handle the idea of not moving in an RPG. Which makes me wonder how they handled it in the video games, but that I'm getting ahead of myself. But given that, I think the whole thing of certain monsters appearing during moon phases, that I wouldn't do. I'm obviously not going to be using the moon phase setup in the Mega 10 games because that should be served for its own RPG, because it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say for moon phases, we essentially have 4 phases: new moon, waxing, full, waning. And I'd say the phase changes at the end of every downtime step.
Yeah.
I think roll a d4 at the start of the campaign to see what the starting phase is. Or during session 0. The starting phase. So New Moon has it that the power of skill abilities is up and white magic is down. Though it's the only time skill abilities is referenced. Some of them reference, or rather, it's referenced in Waning Moon. We don't have a codified equipment to skill abilities, so I'm thinking that for New Moon, spells that inflict damage get an additional die, and spells that recover damage should it be step up or gain an additional die?
It should be step up because we don't want them to lose a die and only go down to like 1 die. It should just be step up, step down.
I'm putting it as HP reducing spells, which I'm sure some folk are going to hem and haw about the specificity of my wording.
I don't like messing around with the moon phase stuff though. It's just annoying.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's gonna get brought up, so I may as well put it in there.
This is why I said we shouldn't do anything but the base game.
Hmm. But I knew the question was gonna come up at some point, so it's me heading it off at the pass.
My response would be make your own.
Hmm.
There you go. I answered your question. Make your own. Except apparently that answer usually isn't good enough. Apparently.
Yeah. That's why with that incident I said there's an issue of yeah-butting. Apparently us saying this is a homebrew friendly thing. There's room to make your own entries. Just results in the doubling down of, well, you should have put that in. Because it is somehow my responsibility to account for everything at a level that even professionals with a much higher budget than me don't do. So let's see. For waxing moon, let's see, improves white magic and lowers black magic. I think that can be kept. Actually, I think it says it talks about improving black magic and improving one and lowering the other. How about this? Black magic gets a +3 to casting rolls. White magic gets a -3.
So that it's okay. So that way it's just easier or harder to cast the thing.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It's not impossible to cast at higher level, but you're spending more MP to do it.
Yeah.
So, and actually I got them switched. And of course, this applies to enemies and allies. So, it's one of those things where you have to be careful, and also means that you do have to take a little bit of care during the preparation phase. So maybe reallocate what spells you have during those phases.
Mm-hmm.
Remember one of the rules of combat: if the enemy is in range, so are you.
Yes.
Let's see. And full moon, black magic goes up. Attack abilities are weaker. Only time you can get the sand pearl. I'm thinking just flip what I did for new moon. Flip what I do for new moon, and when it comes to waning moon, flip that.
Yeah, I just think full moon and new moon are really all that's necessary. More effects is just going to make it more crappy.
Yeah. Full moon and waning
gonna bog it down.
are going to be in. They're just the flipped version of new and waxing.
All right.
So because with some of the other things, they're a bit too specific. I'm fine with a little specificity, but I do have my limits.
I mean, the only thing I was going to suggest based on the moon phases, I know that like attack abilities and skill abilities it keeps talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say that when it comes to the one that improves attack, it reduces extra effort threshold.
Yeah. I think this is a simpler take.
Yeah, it is a simpler take. I was just like, that was the closest suggestion I had. So the new take that you got on it is frankly, more streamlined. It's better.
Mhm.
Is why making it harder on ourselves than we need to do, man.
When has that stopped us?
I'm not saying it stops us or doesn't stop us, but sometimes can't we just have an easy day?
We don't do this because it was easy. We do this because we thought it was easy.
No, we didn't. That's a bold-faced lie. We both knew this was gonna be fucking just a slog.
Mhm. But yeah, that more or less covers the run with FF4. When we get to 5 in 2 weeks, we will be returning to the job system as it's been in the past. But I don't think we're going to have as hard a time with it as we did with 3 because we have a much more defined cast.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have a bunch of blank slates. We have Barts or Butts depending on the translation you go with.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of the crew, which have named personalities that we can build around, much like we did with 2. However, next week we'll be shifting back into the world of Alecrast and covering one section that I skipped over in the overview of the Alecrast continent, and that is the 10 children. So keep an eye out for that. And later tonight, I will be heading back on stream to do what I had planned on doing on Saturday, but I didn't get to because I got hurt.
This man gets hurt, and everything falls the fuck apart.
I could barely move my legs. What do you want me to do?
I know. I'm not saying it's unjustified. I'm just saying everything fell the fuck apart.
It's the double-edged sword when you're the one wearing all the hats.
Yep.
But that will be something to delve into soon, and I will be revisiting Dungeon Master Ty's Adventure Slang Productions podcast to talk about the current state of things with Legend Edition.
Yay.
So keep an eye out for that. And I do have there was one interview I had on Monday, but I didn't hear back from him, so I'm putting that as delayed. I do have one with the developer of the Ravens playtest on Wednesday, and of course more of Phantasy Star and Draw Steel on Thursday and Friday respectively. We're done with classes. We're now into things like kits, and
yay!
Looking at the kit system ahead of time, it is very much amusing that both MCDM and myself had similar ideas of divorcing ourselves from the typical weapon list. He's instead doing kind of equipment packages in a way that reminds me of the stance system in Granado Espada. And some of you may have been hit with the age button by me mentioning that old MMO.
I can feel my back hurting already, Monk.
So I did find out there's a dedicated private server for it, because of course there is.
Yup.
But keep an eye out for that. So until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Morning comes in.